Hey there everybody, welcome back to the Maniac. I am excited this time to review a product. This is from Enailcouture and it is their Play Gel, which is what Max calls the spider gel. So it's similar to other brands of spider gel you've probably seen. I opened these already because they're kind of a pain to open. You have to like peel the lid off and it's kind of crazy. But if you haven't seen spider gel before, it's basically just gel, but it's got a really sticky, thicker consistency, so it's stringy. And you can do lots of cool stuff with it. I reviewed a spider gel that came in my Sparkle & Co. subscription bag. That was the October bag. And so we're just gonna see how this compares. This does seem a little bit easier to work with, a little bit more free-flowing, and this is the Play Gel set. I don't remember the price for this, but I'll put it down in the show notes with a link in case you wanted to purchase this. So please have paper towels and all that ready. You can clean this up really easily with just some like 90% or higher isopropyl alcohol, and it'll just come right off because it is just gel. But you can see it is really, I got some black in here when I was trying to get it open. It's just really sticky and stringy, and you can do lots of really cool, fun stuff with it. So we're gonna go ahead and try our hand here. These are just some nails I was playing with. I just sculpted these in acrylic, these stiletto nails. So we're gonna go ahead and put some, I'm gonna put this, I guess I'll just use this same green or teal color that I got in, this is from the October Sparkle & Co. Subscription bag. Oops, little hair or fur probably from my dog. So I'm just going to do a quick coat of this so that there's kind of a darker base layer so you can see the colors pop a little bit more. You can definitely put this right on top of an acrylic or a hard gel. It is gel, so that would be just fine as far as it being able to stick and adhere and stay and all that. But this pink is fairly light, so the black would show up great. The gold will probably look really good, but the other colors you probably wouldn't really be able to see too well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop this in the light here, give that a little cure. While I do that, I'm gonna keep these out of the way because this is gel, like I said, so it will need to cure to stay in place. A couple things about working with this. So again, this is Enailcouture's Play Gel set. Comes with white, black, silver, and gold, which is a good mix of colors. Really, you're using it as an accent to create either geometric designs or kind of a like, I compared it kind of to like cotton candy, like kind of a stringy, swoopy look. And we'll practice that on these nails here so you can kind of see what that looks like. So we'll just pull those out. And like I said, you want to have a paper towel nearby or some lint-free wipes or something, because it gets messy, I'm not gonna lie. The other thing about working with this is that if you are creating really detailed lines and shapes and things like that, you want to have your light close by. Obviously, you know, you don't want to put the whole jar in front of it because this top part will cure, but whichever one you're using, you can pull over. You are going to want to cure it on top kind of at intervals, because the longer you let it sit, the more gravity is going to work on that gel and pull it down. So if you're trying to make real crisp lines, it is going to kind of like sink down into the nail. Let me see if I can show you an example. So here's some that I was working. This is my red iguana practice hand, my creepy, really fake, like super real looking fake hand. Super real fake hand, is that a thing? But you can see on this finger here, you can see that these lines are fairly thick, and they weren't that way when I first put it on, but I was working on these two, and as I did, the gel kind of settled and takes up more space. Gravity works on it. You can see these ones are thinner because I use thinner lines, and I cured them right after because I had looked back at this and gone, oh yeah, I forgot I need to cure that. So just a couple little tips while you are working with this. I do really like the consistency of this play gel. It's kind of like the perfect, it's not too sticky, but it's not too, too fluid either. And I can get a pretty good amount, and that will make for a thicker line. So if you can see, as I pull this across, as it drops off, the line gets a little thinner. So you can kind of see when I first pull it out, if I want a thicker line, that's what I'm going to use. As it goes on, you can see the line laying down in there. It's going to get thinner and thinner. So I generally work with pretty thin lines just because I think that they just look nicer. But again, you can use this for kind of a round, sort of swooped look. And, the more you practice working with this, you can get pretty precise on these as far as the size and the location of them, which is really cool, because you can do a lot of really fun stuff with them. So let me go ahead and switch to the black. So try out all of these colors here. We'll kind of do more like a square design like you saw on. So the cool thing about this is that once you get it going, you can kind of lay it to the point you want it, and then you can switch directions. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So you can actually kind of pull it to a specific spot and then turn it and make straight lines both ways. So again, because of the advice I told you earlier, I'm going to pop this in the light. It only needs maybe 10 seconds in the light just to freeze it into place. And then you can continue working on it. So you're not wasting an entire 60 seconds or more every time you need to cure it to freeze it into place. You can just pop it in there for 10 or 15 seconds, and that should freeze it enough to keep the gel from moving. So let's go on to the silver and gold. We'll do some straight lines again here. And you can just see how stringy it is. And it reminds me of something, but I can't make it come to my head what it is it reminds me of. And you can really control this pretty nicely. So you can see I'm doing these kind of a good space apart, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put the gold in between. So let's see how talented I've gotten working with this just a couple times. I haven't had a ton of experience with this spider gel, but I do think it is a lot of fun. And there are a lot of really clever, cool design elements that you could incorporate this into. For example, you could, you could use this if you're doing decorations, spider webs and things like that for Halloween. It is October, so that didn't go quite exactly in the middle, but still, look at how cool that looks. And again, the longer you let it pull, the thinner the strings are going to be. But if you take it straight from here with a thicker bunch, see how thick that is? So you can really control the thickness of these lines, which is really cool. So if you want one that's, kind of in the middle, thickness wise, you can kind of pull it that way. And again, see how messy this is? It's like going everywhere. So make sure you have something underneath while you're working on it. So you want to clean up the sides so you can see this kind of went on the skin. And as always, if you work with gel and things like that, the less skin contact, the better, because you can have the possibility of developing allergies from having contact with the gel. Just depends on how sensitive your skin is and all that kind of stuff. But you could see that this really could be a ton of fun to play with, just to give you an idea of kind of the things that you can do. And then look at how cool this came out. And you could really, if you take the time and and you're not worried about the timing on a video, you could really get pretty precise with this. And look at all the different thicknesses. So you have a really thick, not as thick, this one's pretty thin all the way down, another thick one down here on the bottom. And once those have been frozen, again, it's still a little sticky, but you know, you're gonna throw a top coat on that after it's cured. So we'll go ahead and put it into cure for a minute, and then I'll top coat it and you can see what that looks like. All right, so that has cured out for 1 minute. And we're gonna go ahead and pop some Young Nails Ultimate Finish Gel on top. This is a no wipe top coat. It is basically a thin sort of version of a hard gel. So it only goes on enhancements. You wouldn't wanna put this on a natural nail. But I love it because it's pretty thick. So it's gonna kind of fill in all of these little grooves in between the spider gel, because it is kind of lifted up because it's a little bit thicker. So like fill this in, get it nice and smooth. Do this one too. So on my final cure for the spider gel, I did put it in for 60 seconds. It just gives it a nice full cure, especially if you're doing thicker pieces, thicker lines or swirls or whatever. You want to definitely make sure that you give it a good full minute. That 15 seconds is just to freeze it so it doesn't move around, but you do want to cure it so these thicker pieces get cured all the way through. And then this finished gel is going to go for a 2-minute cure. It'll be completely cured out. It is, again, it's a no wipe top coat, so as soon as it comes out, it'll be all done and ready to go. Okay, all done. So there we go. Completely dry, no wipe top coat. Some kind of square, some circle, all different kinds of stuff you can do with this. So again, this is the Enailcouture Play Gel, which is their version of spider gel. I have a link down in the show notes for you guys. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified every time there is a new video posted. As always, if you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up. And please tell me in the comments if you have any questions, anything you'd like to see coming up in the future. I'd be happy to take a look at any ideas you have for upcoming videos. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll catch you next time on the Maniac.